Good afternoon. This is Pastor Barbara, aka Preacher with Parrots. This video is the first in a series of maybe 4, 5, 6 tapes on how to prepare your home for the arrival of a pet bird or to add uh, a bird to an existing family, how to keep them safe, how to keep them healthy, what to feed them, uh, how you can sometimes save not a lot of money, but a little bit of money on what you feed them and how you feed them and how you go about it. This is my bird dress. I made one of the videos, probably video 2 or 3, already today. And it was clipping the wings and nails of the medium and smaller birds, such as the cockatiels and the lovebirds. Occasionally, when you do the nails, you clip too far, usually on the bigger birds when you clip more, and you get some blood, and that's why I have one dress. It's just for that. It's been bled on. It's been washed, but that's what I keep it for. When I made that tape, I tried to do it right here so that you all could see exactly what I was doing. Usually I do this in my lap, and so it wasn't quite as good, but I think it'll give you an idea on how to do these things. I don't believe I won't be using any of the birds on this particular video, but I wanted to show you some things. Now, the reason I'm showing you things is if you're really interested in getting a bird, or you know somebody who has birds, there are some things you should keep your eyes open for. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm a thrift store person. I pass by one. If I have the time, I go in. This item right here, I I have 4 of these. This is the first one I bought. It cost me $6. It was in better shape then. And I had, as you can see on this one, there's a cup, little cup for water or food. It had 2 that went here and here. This is a stand. This keeps the droppings or the food or anything here, which is easier to clean than on your floor. This is wood. These are no longer there, but I wanted you to know, you never know when you walk into a thrift store what you're going to see. And if you have in mind something you're going to do, and you go in enough stores, you'll see something that will save you a lot of money if you're thinking ahead. That's why I mentioned it. Even though you may not have birds now, you walk in, you see something like this for $5 or $6, buy it. If you don't need it, bring it to me. No, actually, I'm cutting back. I have 14 birds now and 5 eggs in a nest. And I'm getting older, and with medical issues, I just can't do as much as I used to do. So I'm not taking things in, but I met a woman yesterday or day before yesterday that has birds. I have 4 of these. I'm going to have to see if she needs one because she was telling me that she had gotten a citation for her birds being noisy. And if the birds are used to being with you all the time and you're not there, they do get noisy. But this is a wonderful way to keep them with you wherever you are because it's lightweight. And that's all they want is to be with you. I was going over one of the older videos that I have on YouTube. Something that Captain made. He's had, I don't know why it was featured, but he's had over 20,000 views on that particular one. Now, on that video, you don't even see the whole cage. You see a corner of it. But somebody had made the comment on the bottom that said I should have a bigger cage. A lot of people think, well, bigger is better. Um, let me throw this out for you to think about. Consider a person who lives alone in a 5 or 6 bedroom, 4 or 5 bathroom home. They sit in the living room most of the 24-hour day watching television and ordering pizza. Got a big home. Never use it. I was going to hire somebody to do some cleaning, and they said to me, how many rooms do you have? And I said, doesn't make any difference. I don't use them all. You only have to be concerned about the ones that I use. And then think about somebody else that lives in 1 or 2 rooms and eats healthy food and spends 3 hours a day at the gym. And that's how my birds are. Yes, they live in cages, and some people think they should live in the hole outside. There's birds outside that drop dead every day from hunger and from injury and from being attacked by other animals. Mine will live much longer. They're much healthier. They're much happier. They're better cared for. But somebody's going to watch this video and say, all birds should be outside. I get it every time I make a bird video. Somebody that hasn't been there, hasn't done that, hasn't really thought it through. Okay, this one I paid $6 for. I'm guessing maybe $20, $25 on something like an inexpensive store or on Amazon. This is the one that is the most expensive, and they run in a pet store. As you can see, this is pretty shiny, pretty fancy. At one time, it had 2 of these cups. It's much larger. This one has wheels. The other one doesn't. I paid $22 for it in a pet store. But they're around $125, $150 in an inexpensive store because I don't even go into expensive stores. When you have birds, you have to have an extra cage. Now, I live in the mountains. I have lived through, I was going to say 4. I believe now it's 4 fires on the mountain and another one before I moved, which was an area similar to the mountain. It just wasn't as high. And yet I have to be prepared all the time for a cage that I can load into my RAV4. That birds, even a bird like Captain weighs 2.5 pounds, but he has a tail that's that long. And I have to find a cage. The last fire, I was only gone for 2 or 3 days, but it was, we were told like that, go now. And I called a friend that then turned me down, but she's not an animal person. And I was very careful, not that she hinted or even asked, but I was careful, realizing and I've visited her home before, but with 1 bird, 1 dog, something like that, nothing like 14 birds and 1 dog. But somebody helped me load them into cages. Now this cage that's back here, it's, I'd say medium for a small cage, but it's very sturdy and wouldn't be easy for a bird to get out of. And my roof rented Amazon, and the Nandy Conyer that lives with him lived in it. Now that's kind of small for 2 birds. And yet, cage size is not important in emergencies. Being able to get it in your car is. But my birds were gone for 3 days. They were never unhappy. The dog is 12, 14 years old. Chihuahua had never been in a kennel, in a cage. And he was in one. I took him out 4 times a day. But they were in my room. They were with me. They were happy. They were together. The 2 macaws were together. When we left, yes, some seeds had fallen out of the cages, some paper had fallen out of the cages, but nothing that it damaged or made us unwelcome to return. And yet everybody was happy because basically they looked to me for food, they looked to me for care, and they were with me, and they were fine. That's what's important to your pets, not your surroundings and so forth. Of course, you're not going to have a big bird or any bird in a tiny, tiny cage. But that's what these things are for. For the bigger birds, the birds that are well trained, you get them out, you put them there. Whatever room you're in, you're there. All right, a few things I want to tell you in this series. Before I close this video, I'm going to tell you some foods you have to, some things you absolutely have to get out of your house. There are some plants and some foods and some things that I can't tell you everything, and if I could, you wouldn't be able to remember it all. But I can tell you the more important things that are apt to be in your home right now that you need to determine. You either get a bird or you get rid of that stuff. All right. We'll talk about cages and the stands, what is safe before the video's over. If anybody's interested, I'll teach you how to potty train one of the big birds. It takes a whole weekend. And if you don't have a whole weekend, or you're not persistent, according to my directions, you're going to waste your weekend. But if you are, it can be done. I will oops, I had made notes. A lot of good it did me. Well, I can't even find them. Let's talk about some of the things you got to get rid of your house right now if you're thinking of getting a bird or if you have one. And I wonder on what page I wrote this down. See, I'm not used to preaching with notes. But for all of this stuff, I thought I'd better write it down. Now I can't even find it. Here we go. These are things that will absolutely kill your bird. No question about it. Avocado. Whenever I tell you a fruit or a vegetable, we're looking at 2 things: the fruit or vegetable itself and the tree or plant that grows it. Almost all the trees and plants are not good for them, but you're usually not around them. Avocado, my guess is that it's that huge pit thing in the middle, but we're not taking any chances. No avocado. Chocolate, no way. No amount is safe. No amount is safe, even if the bird is big, even if the bird is healthy. Another thing is apple tea. Apple is fine. The tree it grows on, if they chew it, is not. The seeds is not. Later on in another video, in fact, I have made the pictures already. I just have to get them into form that I can show them to you. how I cut them up. I cut them up one way for the little birds because they lay on the bottom of the cage. And I cut them up differently for the big birds because the big birds, like the Amazon, the macaws, and birds, cockatoos, and birds that size, they get food and hold it in their hand and bring it up to their mouth. Vegetables and fresh fruit. So theirs has to be the appropriate size. What's not good, but one sip occasionally will not do them that much harm, is caffeine. I've had Captain sometimes, and I'm having a soda pop. This is diet ginger ale. And I usually have something sitting around in case I need to take a swallow of something. And he'll reach in and get a swallow or two. First of all, because he has to reach in, he can't open his mouth that big and get that much. So it isn't as though it were in an appropriate cup and he could drink a lot. But one or two swallows of what he could get is not all that good for him. But then it's not all that good for us either if we have a lot. So once or twice a year that he happens to be with me and I have a soft drink, I drink myself usually caffeine-free coffee, but I have other coffee for my guests. A sip, especially since he's a large bird, one sip is not that much, and he's a healthy bird. So, but it's not good. But if it happens occasionally, it isn't anything to worry about. Also, sugar or artificial sweetener is not that good for him, and very much of it is not that good for us either. Alcohol is not good for them, not good for us. Usually, name it, and it's good for them, is fresh fruit. And most vegetables are good for them. We'll go through that later. Cigarette smoke, no, we're going to talk about things that go in the air. Things that even though the bird might be on the other side of the room, because things that travel in the air will get to where the bird is. Cigarette smoke is not good. A real killer that has killed birds and made other birds very, very sick is Teflon. Teflon is not only in pots and pans that you use to cook with, but it's in something I've never had, and that's a self-cleaning oven. But it stands to reason that if you're just going to turn it up and heat it up, it's going to clean itself. It's going to have something that's going to cause the stuff to fall out of it. Teflon is very dangerous. There have been cases when there's been a lot of it and somebody has had a bird and they haven't thought to take the bird out, and especially a smaller bird. Now, you don't hear of it. It doesn't happen that much because most people don't keep birds in the kitchen. But so many houses now are open. Years ago, you know, your kitchen had a door to it and your dining room had a door to it. My kitchen doesn't have a door. My dining room is between the kitchen and the living room. It doesn't have a door. My living room has a door that shuts off to the bedroom, but houses are open. So you can see that a small bird or a bird that wasn't healthy or a bird that was very young, that was very close to where this was happening, especially if there was no window open, and you were more concerned about something burning or causing a problem, and you were more concerned with the problem, forgot about the bird, and the bird had many minutes of ingesting this Teflon. It has killed some birds and really heartbroken people because, of course, not only do they miss their bird, but they feel very, very guilty. So in my case, there's no Teflon here. Now, it's very hard to buy. Um, I shouldn't say that hard, but where I just go and buy one thing, maybe 2 or 3 years, I go and buy one other thing. It's a big deal when I go out and buy cookware. Um, but I just got rid of, didn't have much to begin with. And as soon as I learned that, I just got rid of it. Another dangerous thing that it happened to me once, and I already knew of the danger. I just didn't know there was a bird loose in my house, and that's an open toilet. What happens is um, if a bird gets in, and birds, the toilet is low. So if a bird is flying like off your shoulder, or if you put the bird on the sink and it flies down, it's going to get into an open toilet. And then because it can't get out, it can't climb up the walls, it can't get out, and it will eventually drown. I had one time when I had a lot more birds than I have now, I had 5 um, parakeets. And I was missing part of the time when I would feed them. I would open the door and put in food, and I wouldn't close the door right away. They could come in, go out, do whatever they wanted. And then when they all went in, I would close the door. Well, there were a few times I was missing a bird. And, but a little bit later, there it would be. And I thought, I wonder if that's a female and she's got a nest somewhere. And I looked under the washer, I looked under the dryer, I looked everywhere you could, never did find any babies. One day, years ago, we used to have to take our trash to the dump ourselves. And I had gone out and I came back. And I came in the house and I opened the door. And there was a bird sitting on the railing. And I said, surprise, and that's what I named the bird. Surprise. I came upstairs to the living room, and up there on a shelf, almost as high as the ceiling, was another bird. And I said, milagro, miracle, and that's what I named that bird. And I started looking around the house, and there were 2 bathrooms downstairs. And I went right away. The most gorgeous black and white of that particular species of bird I've ever seen was lying dead in the toilet. Now, all my birds that I thought I had were locked in cages. And so the toilet seat was not down. But nevertheless, it can happen. And so you have to get used to it, especially if you have kids and guys. Girls don't have a problem so much with this. You got to make sure that the toilet seats are down or the door is closed all the time. Not most of the time, but all the time. Some of the things you have to really be careful of are plants. Now you see that I have some live plants. I've got some on either side of the fireplace. I've got one plant on the fireplace, and behind that is a bar, actually, where I'm pointing now. I keep firewood in there. But there are 2 cages above that, and behind those cages are some ivy. Now those can be certain kinds of ivy, certain kinds of plants. The best thing is, if you're going to buy a plant, either don't buy one on the spur of the moment without looking up to see if it's safe or not, or do what I do. Just take out your cell phone and Google that kind of plant and ask if it's safe for birds. Other things that are not safe are wax, perfume, paint, and I mean something that's painted that the birds can pull the paint off of. Occasionally you'll get bird toys that have been painted. Almost every kind of wood is not safe for them because it comes from an unsafe tree. And he said, what are you telling me this? We don't have wood piled up in my house, but you have furniture. And most furniture is made of wood or has got wood as a part of it. And my birds, the little ones, they're left out every other day for a while to wander around. They know how to get themselves back in their cages in case I don't put them back, but usually they, after they've wandered around a little bit, they go back. This video has been 26 minutes now, and there are going to be more. So in order to keep this one kind of not too long, I'm going to close the video now. Matter of fact, my mouse is on the floor, and I've got to pick it up so that I can turn the video off. And one of the next videos will have to do with the food, how you prepare it, how you serve it, how much you know what to give them, and so forth. Another one, which I've already made, has to do with clipping the small and medium-sized birds' wings and nails. And I'm going to try to make one with the big birds. It's difficult for me to do this and get it on camera. The best thing for the birds is that I sit where I normally sit and just do what I normally do, and I have them on my lap. But then I can't make a good video that way. So we'll do the best we can, but that one is already made. The big birds now, when we're talking about their wings and their nails, we're talking about giants. And a few tricks about training, but especially about being safe. We have strange ideas as people. After I had cancer, the insurance company for a few times sent somebody to help me clean house. I had some woman, and she found in a cupboard some Mr. Clean. Now, she knew everything there was to know about taking care of older people who were ill, because she had been to school 3 Saturdays in her lifetime. She knew everything there was to know. And she took the Mr. Clean out and she put it under the sink. She said, everybody knows cleaning supplies go under the sink. I said, let me tell you about Captain. Captain is the big bird downstairs. We even have a video on YouTube showing him opening a cat. There isn't anything that this bird can't get into if he wants to. And there's a reason that Mr. Clean was where it was. Almost any cleaning supply, but especially Clorox and bleach and things that clean toilets and the things that clean really dirty stuff. I mean, you don't buy things to clean stuff that are a little bit dirty. You can do that with a wet rag. The stuff that's made to clean nasty stuff is very bad. And it has to be kept where a bored bird won't get into it because it's a toy, or won't open it, or won't lick off some of it that happens to be on the container. Those are things that most people don't think about. They don't think about, and remind me later to tell you about Captain and some of the stuff he has pulled. But anyway, for this video, I'm through. I'll see you on the next video. God bless.